All right. Shalom. We're the Brothers of Great Millstone, church here in Birmingham, Alabama. And as always, want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there. And as always, you believers. So yeah, we back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. As always, continuing in the spirit and theme of prophecy, which is custom here at Great Millstone, beginning at the apostles and elders, and the sincere men within the ministry, even brothers outside of that banner of Great Millstone, brothers who teach in like fashion, who have been entrusted with the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Well, the first order of business, if you will, the main objective is to prophesy concerning the things that set to befall the planet Earth, and more so the things pertaining to the end of this current system, this beast system, America, being a whore that sitteth upon it. That's the message in the report we have been entrusted with and commanded to push forth that vibration in the earth, which that moment being a destruction, the overthrow of this place will be preceded by a series of plagues that we often go into, the famine, all hell breaking loose. We've been speaking on it a lot lately, these retail apocalypse, stores closing, which that's nothing more than the Mossad beginning to tear down and pull up. What's that, Jeremiah, the first chapter? You're going to have the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which the stage is set. You got the infrastructure in place. So everything is going according to plan. And not to mention World War III, which the stage is set for that event. And that's ultimately going to bring in Yahweh Shai, the deliverer, from that destruction. But what we want to touch on in this lesson is the time of Jacob's trouble. That's an event, that's a heavily promoted event in the scriptures, which, it received a lot of pushback. You got a lot of Jake, even to this very moment, who dismissed the concept of Jacob's trouble, in which we're in the midst of it, man. In which Jacob's trouble is nothing random about it. In fact, it would be nothing more than the Most High beginning to visit you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans for your many offenses. And guess what? Rightfully so, man, because we've been placed here on the scene of the crime to serve as witnesses. We're witnessing the wickedness of our people, and the Lord is going to be justified when he opened all the way up on you people. That's why the scripture speaks about, two or more witnesses, then a matter is established, pretty much. And Yahweh Shai even spoke about that. Well, two or more are gathered in my name, right? So is Yahweh Shai in the midst. So the two or more really represents the prophets as a whole. We serve as witnesses to these things. And that pretty much summons the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Now remember, Yahweh Shai is known as what? The Word. He's the commandment, right? What's that? Is that the book of, is that Psalms 25? Or it might be Proverbs. It speaks about he who fear the commandment shall fear no evil thing. So that commandment really goes back to Yahweh Shai, his word. So we the witnesses who bring forth that word. Now, when you go into it, do me a favor. Go to the book of, go to Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter. Let me make sure where is that. Someone might say, well, hold up, what you doing going into the law? I meant Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32 and start at the Start at the 16th verse.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Right. And this has been the legacy of Israel. When you go back to the wilderness, and throughout the course and duration of that tug of war, if you will, between the Most High and his people, basically a dysfunctional relationship in which the dysfunction was solely on our end as a people. So when you consider these things, the Lord doesn't have to go back and adjust the laws, because this is happening even to this very day. Is not Israel provoking the Lord as we speak? Yeah. Especially at a time where a peace offering has been extended. See? But our people, they pretty much dismiss the Lord's advances, and they tend to gravitate to everything outside of Yahweh Shema Shah. That's why you got our people, they into damn Buddha, Islam, they Moors, Christians, which I'm going to say this for the record, we the real Christians, which the Apostle Taha, he touched on that as well. The true Christians is really Israelites. And to go deeper, the Israelites who believe on Yahweh Shah, which is the elect. So the elect is really the Christians that the scriptures speak about. But that is relate to, the modern day Christian in the modern sense of the word, those amongst our people who really gravitate to Esau, man. That's why the figurehead in which they reverence is a so-called white man, Cesare Borgia. See? So what we reading right here, it rings true even to this very day, although we read in the book of Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. For an example, when you read Deuteronomy 28, right? Do it not consist of the curses that will ultimately befall the children of Israel? It outlines the slave trade when you came over here in ships. So it's no different than what we're reading right here. This is actually applying even now more so to the time we're in now. You're going to see as we read on. Go ahead.
They sacrifice unto devils, not to the Most High.
Right, and I just made mention of that. They references to everything but Yahweh Shema Shah. Come on.
To gods whom they knew not. To new gods that came up newly up.
See that? New gods. And you could throw Cesare Borgia in there. Go ahead.
Whom your fathers feared not.
Yeah, here it is. You reverencing the so-called white man in the form of Cesare Borgia. Even when you look at certain depictions, you got the Most High depicted as a so-called white man. Right? You know that feminine picture, the finger of God, where they got two figures who are posing as the Most High and his only begotten Son, and they pretty much naked with linen, just one little sheet of linen covering them, and they touching each other's finger. Our forefathers, they didn't fear Esau, man. In fact, when you go into now I'm speaking about under the regime of King David and Solomon, Edom was under us, man. Go ahead.
Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful.
See that? Of the rock that had begotten thee, you are unmindful. So this applies again even to this very moment, and more so now, more than ever. The Lord have stripped our people from those instincts. They are not mindful of their power. And although the prophet's been sent out, we out there diligently, week in, week out, doing the week, uploading videos, going into in-depth analysis, if you will, and extensive research. And somehow our people's minds are not being stirred up, only the elect. Come on.
Con, and has forgotten the power that formed thee.
See that? Do me a favor. Look at that word forgotten.
Con. Con. It says to forget, ignore, wither. To forget, to cease to care.
Right, to cease to care. They don't care. They don't care about Yahweh Shai. And this is manifest through them not reverencing his only begotten son, which is brought forth courtesy of the word. The scriptures say how they despise he who despises the word shall be destroyed. Now, when you go into that word despise, it translates to hold insignificant. And that's what our people do. When they're confronted with this word, they hold it as insignificant. Come on.
Con. It says to be forgotten, to cause to forget, to make. It says to make or cause to forget, to be forgotten. If I may.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go to the Strong. I thought this was the same word, and it is. Go to the Strong's, Baba Kashab.
It says to mislay, i.e., to be oblivious of.
See, to be oblivious of. We brought this up maybe a week ago. So that word forget is heavy, man. You know, upon further examination, it really goes into being oblivious. So the Most High pretty much blinded you. He took away those instincts that's most critical for survival. And you are oblivious to the fact that there is a power that dictates the coming and going of men. See? Come on, you could finish that off.
It says the definition, Elder.
Yeah, if it was more that jumped out of it, then we can go back.
Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 18, it says, of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and has forgotten the power that formed thee.
You're oblivious. You see? Come on.
And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters.
Yep. So the Lord abhorred you, which when you abhor something, you pretty much abstain from it. You avoid it. That's why, as relating to the believers of Yahweh Shai, I believe that Psalm 145 speaks about how those who are near unto the Most High. But then on the flip side, you got those who the Lord abhor amongst Israel, man. And this is why the Lord's favor is likened to gathering. When you gather someone, then that's showing favor. That's like embracing them. But when you scatter them, that's you saying, you pushing them away. So Israel has been scattered even to this very moment, versus those of us who are being brought into the fold. See? Come on.
And he said, I will hide my face from them.
See that? And that's the time we're in. So you see where this chapter is coming alive. The Lord said he will hide his face from us. And when I say us, I'm speaking about Israel as a whole, because the Lord have revealed. Matter of fact, do me a favor. We're going to come back here. Go to, what's that? Wisdom of Solomon 1. The Lord have hidden his face from Israel. And what's that face? This knowledge. That's this face, man. Because this is the only way one can come into the Lord's good graces. It's cemented, it's forged by this knowledge. That's why the scriptures say the beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Most High. Also, when you read Wisdom of Solomon 7, speaks about how an alliance is created between you and the Most High, and it's forged by what? Wisdom. All right, come on.
Good. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 1. Love righteousness, ye to be judges of the earth. Think of the Lord with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him.
Right, meaning you got to be willing to be taught. There's not the scriptures encouraging you to be simple. No, the only way you can learn, you have to have simplicity of heart. That's on all levels. You start a new job, you can't come up in there as if you know. You got to ask where the bathroom at, where the break room at. That's the only way you're going to find out. So in simplicity of heart, that's the only way you can truly seek the Most High. Go ahead.
For he will be found of them that tempt him not, and show of himself unto such as do not distrust him.
See that? So the Lord showeth himself to those or such who do not distrust him. Meaning when you hear the information, you got to trust in it. You can't say, you know what, I don't know about that. I don't believe we Israelites because, but guess what? The Lord's not going to show himself to you. In that moment, you have been officially hidden from the face of the Lord. Real quick, before we go back, I want to say this, Isaiah, the 8th chapter. I believe it's around the 14th verse, maybe. Might be on down. Let me check on this end. See, the trouble that's about to descend upon our people, well, really is already taking place, which we got a little information we're going to bring out in a nice lesson. That's the physical manifestation of the Lord hiding himself in his perfection. It begins with this word, but ultimately, it's going to play out in the form of those judgments. Jacob's trouble. What's that? Okay, yep. Start at the 16th verse. Yep.
Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 16. Bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples.
Right. And that law is really this doctrine, man. So it's been sealed. It's been shut off to the outsiders. Go ahead.
And I will wait upon the Lord that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him.
See that? So the Lord eventually will hide his face. And again, that's the time we're in. And how is this feat accomplished? Through the Lord hiding this information. We could break it down and we blow in the face. We could pull out images. Or, if you have a picture book, that's pretty much simplifying things, right? But that's basically what we do. We got missile signs. We got precepts to go with it. In certain cases, we might pull out an article or information in the form of a video or article simultaneously. Yet, it's hidden from you, man. See? So that's the Lord pretty much sealing your faith, which goes back to the law. Let's go back up.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 20. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be.
Yeah, I will see what their end shall be. So that proves when you go into even the law, the spirit of prophecy lingers throughout the book. It tells you that in the book of Psalms, the 40th chapter, for an example. How Yahweh Shah come in the volume of the book. So when the Lord says he's going to hide his face, it's going to be perfected in the end. Click on that word end, huh?
Okay. It says after part, in issue event. It says latter time, prophetic for future time.
See that? So as we read in the law, the Lord is pretty much sending death threats, and he's placing the 2/3 at the scene of the crime. These things will unfold in their perfection here, where? In the latter time, future time. See? So let's go back up. Unless you got something.
Just real quick on that future time where these things were going to occur. Ecclesiasticus chapter 18. And let me see. Let's say, Khan. Sirach chapter 18 and verse 24. Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end, and the time of vengeance when he shall turn away his face. So you see the Lord having his face turned away from us as a whole, Israelites receiving his knowledge. Is that time of vengeance, which is that thinking upon that wrath that's going to be at the end. You know, so 2/3 they're not going to come into that peace, as it were. You know, that the Lord left his elect, said, peace I leave with you.
Yep.
Not as the peace that the world giveth. So they're going to be entwined in that vengeance, that time of wrath, you know. But it coincides with the Lord turning away his face, you know, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. See?
Hey, you know what? That's heavy too, right? You know, from a physical standpoint, let's say like if you in front of a judge, a king in this case, and you looking for some form of clemency, and he turned his face, right? He just turned away. That signals that there's nothing to talk about. So it plays out in the form of this doctrine. Is presented properly, right? So if you're not able to wrap your mind around it, that's really, again, the Most High turning his face. Yeah, that's a heavy precept, because the scripture, it pretty much complements what we're going into in the law, man. Think upon the wrath that should come at the end. Matter of fact, let's go back.
Good.
Because this is the time, you know what? Before we even go there, go to Ezekiel 7. Right? And you know what? You can start at the very top.
Good. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, also thou son of man, thus saith the Lord power, unto the land of Israel, and the end has come upon the four corners of the land.
Right. So it say the land, right? But we know Israel is a people before it's a place. So this scripture, when viewed through prophetic lenses, which that's what you're encouraged to do. And the scripture speaks about how the carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. So you have people, they have leisure time, they'll read the scriptures, these so-called historians and so-called biblical scholars, but they can't peel back the veil and shed light, you know, on these sayings, these dark sayings. So ultimately, this is concerning now as it relates to the children of Israel. That's why the scriptures say the four corners of the land, because four corner is the edge. It's pretty much the border. And where was Israel driven to? America, the far west. This the setting in which the Lord chose to visit you, man. All right, come on.
Good. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations.
Right, and we know these words, recompense, it translates to paying back. So you pay someone back after the fact. So if Esau, hold up, Esau is the end of the world, right? We know that this is the so-called white man's domicile, so to speak, his domain. And we know he's associated with the end. Well, this will mean that judgment will come in under his watch. See? So when you put the pieces together, it unfolds, the picture becomes clearer, man. This is clear, crystal clear, that this is the time in which the Lord will visit you, right, for all those abominations you did in your past life. Come on.
And my eye shall not spare thee,
Mm-hmm.
neither will I have pity. But I will recompense thy ways upon thee,
Mm-hmm.
and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee.
Right, meaning you're not going to be clear. When your abominations in the midst of you, that means that they cleave unto you. So through these different ages, you haven't been cleared. The blood of Yahweh didn't cover you. See? Go ahead.
And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Thus saith the Lord power, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come.
Right, so it's not going to be any way out. It's a evil and only evil. Or the scripture speaks about as if a man fled from a lion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loosely paraphrasing, and ran into a house and leaned on the wall, and a serpent bit him. See? Hey, and that gives you a glimpse into the chip as well.
Okay.
Hey, because when you lean on the wall, that's going to be your relief. You thinking you're going to catch your breath and regain your footing, and that serpent going to bite you. That's the only way you can accomplish it. But in that, now your fate is sealed, because when you read the scriptures as touching receiving the mark, that's a capital punishment, man. When you read Revelation, the 14th chapter, it gives you insight into the punishment. You're going to be pretty much burnt alive in the presence of Yahweh and the angels, which is a dark saying for World War III. In the coming of the Lord, in the great and notable day of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
But again, an evil and only evil. So don't come to us looking for some form of a pep talk. Or what's that, Jeremiah 15? And if they ask, whither shall we go? Then we're going to say, look, thus for the sword to the sword, thus for the captivity to the captivity, thus for death unto death. Come on.
Come. An end is come. The end is come. It watcheth for thee.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, it is come.
See that? So the end watching for you. Meaning what? Is already prepared. Right? If I had to meet you, let's say me and the brother, we got to meet. I tell you, hey, meet me at a certain spot, a certain establishment. If I'm already there, I'm watching for you. I'm waiting on you to get there. So basically, it's already written. The scene already been put together by the Most High, the architect of this whole thing, man. So we just pretty much reading to you what's going to happen. See? All right, so there's a matter of fact, you can see if that word end, if that's the same word.
Kanye is a different word. It says end. At the end of time, end of space.
Mm-hmm.
In the Strong's, it says an extremity.
Right, that's America.
Mm-hmm.
America is the extremity as it relates to the earth, the land, but even time itself. It's the extremity of the nations having time to rule. Come on.
It says after, utmost, border,
That's it.
end.
That's it. So the four corners of the earth, the end of the earth, those sands is pretty much nothing more than an illustration of the here and now.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord have all type of creative ways to get you in this lifetime. Mechanical dogs, these devils, they've been licking their chops to get their hand on you, man. You got motherfuckers volunteering for ICE. Some they don't even want to get paid. They just want to get their hand on you jakes. And that's pretty much the fury of the Most High working through, that form of resistance. All right, so yeah, we can go back.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 20. And he said, I will hide my face from them.
Mm-hmm.
I will see what their end shall be.
See? So that's the time we're in. And you notice where that face, right? That's the Lord's last, that was him giving the last attempt for you to return to him. And it would be brought forth by something as subtle as truth. Go ahead.
For they are a very froward generation.
Right. Reincarnation. Right? They are forward generation. So that means that word generation meaning those ancient spirits will be generated back. So when we read again Deuteronomy here in the 32nd chapter, as well as other prophetic scriptures, whether in the Old Testament, in the law, the Psalms, even different accounts. In certain cases, they have a prophetic overtone to them. That's why the scriptures say what? The things written aforetime was written for our learning. Men and the wise amongst the people, beginning that the prophets would consider the sayings of Yahweh Shai, and we'll put the pieces together. And again, it brings out a beautiful picture, man. It's clear. Read that again, huh?
Come. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward generation. Children in whom is no faith.
See? Children in whom is no faith. So that proves that this law is going into now, man. Because faith is there. That word faith. Is it not encouraged of you to believe? And if you don't believe, what's that? 2 Ezra 15? All the unfaithful. Matter of fact, get that real quick. So again, we read in the law, and that goes back to the point of the two witnesses. And what two or more gathered in my name, so am I. So the word Yahweh Shai is testifying against you. But he's channeling that through us, man. Come on.
Good. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 4. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
See that? So that's why the scriptures say what? And here in the latter end, I will hide my face. And he would visit that forward generation, meaning those ancient spirits would be brought back on the scene of the crime. And what would be the catalyst? Because they are without faith, man. And it makes sense now. Faith in what? Faith in the doctrine. See? Matter of fact, we can continue in that.
Come, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
See? So the Lord said that's what he's going to bring. Why? Because of your unfaithfulness, which goes back to the law in that forward generation. And it will be brought forth courtesy of Jacob's trouble, man. And again, for all of you out there who came up against it, or it was a guy, he left a comment, I forget on what a brother shared it in one of the chats. And he was like, man, come on, man. He was getting precepts. He was like, yeah, man, the Lord not going to allow nothing to happen to his people in this time, or some wild shit, right? But ultimately, he don't understand the scriptures. He wasn't given insight into the intents and purposes of the Most High. When you read Jeremiah, matter of fact, get real quick, I want to say that Jeremiah 14. Let me see. Either Jeremiah 15 or 14. Yeah, Jeremiah 14. And start at the 15th verse. For those of you out there who, right? For those of you out there who find no place to understand, no place in your heart to pretty much be in agreement with this song, because Jake just want to be, if not entertained, they just want to be told smooth things. What's that? The book of that Isaiah speak unto me. Speaking to a smooth thing. I want to say this Isaiah the 30th chapter.
Okay.
So when we begin to mourn unto you, meaning we expound on the mourning, lamentation, and woe, the evil, Jake don't want to hear it, man. And they're willing to go as far as compromising what the scriptures say and substitute something else in there, to suffice them. But guess what? If that applies, then that means you're going to ultimately succumb to the very same judgments that you say not going to happen. And that's what the matter of fact, let's read it.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 15. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not, yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land.
Right. So if you're saying that Jacob's trouble is not going to happen, that means that you wasn't sent. Go ahead.
By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed.
See that? So the ones who came up against Jacob's trouble, in essence, you're saying sword and famine not going to come in this land. And we know that word land. We just read that in Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, where end shall come upon the land. Now we know geographically, we know that's dealing with our land, but again, Israel is a people before it's a place. So sword and famine is coming to you Israelites, man. See? That's why you got SNAP. Matter of fact, don't we have someone? Matter of fact, let's get that real quick and we're going to come back here. And the scriptures, man, the scriptures is beautiful. They pretty much narrate everything that's unfolding real time. Come on,
Al. This is from Newsweek.com. SNAP benefits deadline of November 1st issued to states.
So the Lord, hey, even that word SNAP is, spiritual. You can, like if you break something or you break something up, it's also referred to snapping. Come on, was it a read in this? I just know I saw the headline. And
it's a little bit.
Okay, come on.
It says the U.S. Department of Agriculture has set a deadline for states to comply with expanded work requirements for SNAP benefits. It says earlier this year, Congress passed the One Big Beautiful Bill, which revised supplemental nutritional assistance program work requirements by narrowing eligibility for exemptions from the 3-month time limit. It says this limit applies to able-bodied adults without dependents. These individuals can receive SNAP benefits for only 3 months within a 3-year period unless they meet certain work requirements. So, if I may, they basically cutting off that whole stay of bread, that whole stay of water. You go into that word staff there. It's a support of life. So that's what you're seeing happen. That, as you mentioned, out of that famine that's increasing upon here, which is going to influence the heaviness of Jacob's trouble even more. It's going to bring these certain calamities upon Jake, because you got Edomites that have these benefits, but Jake is in a lower condition than these Edomites. That's going to cause them to really have to lean on Esau, as you mentioned, that serpent. When you think you got relief, you're going to actually have to turn to this man to receive any kind of benefits, man. It's going to lead to them taking that chip. See?
And when you think about it, everything leading up to the chip, because even with the whole ICE, what's the overtone of it? Illegals.
Okay.
And we know where they're going with that. They're going to ultimately look to have a certain component, if you will, that can identify everybody. The radio identification frequency, because the chip is also is a tag to monitor you. So you see where everything moving towards that moment. See? And it's going to coincide. Jacob's trouble is going to be a heavy scene, man. which we already in it. So let's go back up.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 15. It's like verse 15. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land."
Right. Again, if you're not mourning to the people, if you're not the bearer of bad news, if you're not teaching about the evils, then that means the Most High didn't send you. You got guys talking about everything but the evils. See? What?
By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed, and the people to whom they prophesy shall be cast out in the streets of Jerusalem.
Right. Yeah. That's Jacob's trouble, man. Because the people that listen to them, they're gonna have to ultimately they're gonna have to answer to what they teachers told them. That's why the scriptures say, if one take a man unto their coast, I want to say that's Ezekiel the 3rd chapter. So when you choose the prophet, right? If you chose Dr. Umar Johnson to be your guide, then guess what? He gonna die and you gonna die for choosing. You didn't have the discernment to choose the right guard. Right? You choose. The scripture speaks about that in Jeremiah, the 56th chapter, about those sleeping dogs, dumb dogs. Nigga, you buy a dog and he don't bark. That's on you, man. The house get broken into by the thief. And the dog would sleep. Come on.
And the people to whom they prophesy shall be cast out in the streets of Jerusalem because of the famine and the sword, and they shall have none to bury them.
If I may, bury goes into comforting too. When you read, for an example, Revelation 11, when it speaks about our dead bodies in the street and no one buried them, burying, it goes into rest. So you ain't gonna have nobody to comfort you. Go ahead.
It says, them, their wives, nor their sons, nor their daughters, for I will pour out their wickedness upon them.
See that? Come on, continue.
Therefore, thou shalt say this word unto them: let mine eyes run down with tears night and day.
Yeah, and that, you know what? That's what we're doing. Because the word, remember, Yahweh Shai likened the word to rivers of living waters. But those living waters, they like tears, because basically they promote the wrath of the Most High. Even the deliverance is centered around destruction. So if you got someone with just this world-friendly, happy, jolly spirit, they wasn't sent by the Most High, man. Because again, even the deliverance, you have to be brief concerning the destruction. So these like tears. You got live streams, and they flow day and night, man. What's that? Isaiah, I want to say that's 62. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, who shall hold a peace neither day nor night. That's the tears. Go ahead.
And let them not cease, for the virgin daughter of my people is broken with a great breach, with a very grievous blow. If I go forth into the field, then behold the slain with the sword. And if I enter into the city, then behold them that are sick with famine. Yeah, both the prophet and the priest go about into a land that they know not.
Right, and we know ultimately our people went into captivity, But again, there's a spiritual overtone in what we read. The Lord don't have to go back and adjust the scriptures and write something else to accommodate now. Hey, because there's certain accounts where the Lord will bring judgment on a certain nation, but now it applies to Israel. Or the Lord will bring judgment on Israel, and now it applies to Esau. So what we're reading right here, anytime famine and the sword is on the scene, it's not famine and sword coming on the scene, then we're able to go into the records and we see how they apply. And it fits you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to a T, man. And we just went into the article to snap. And like you mentioned, yeah, you got Edomites with these different programs, but Jake, you built your shit on that, man. A lot of Jake pay their bills with their stamps, certain bills, and see. So yeah, that's all we need right here.
Okay. You want to go to this next article, Elder?
Yeah. Yeah, we just kind of run through them.
Okay. It says ICE agent throws black teen to the ground and arrests him despite his pleas. I am a U.S. citizen. I'm legal. I believe this happened in Chicago. You know, and you seeing Esau getting ready to come down with great wrath. The time of Jacob's trouble being manifest more and more. You know. And this one right here, it says chaos.
Hey, you know what? It's a precept that come to mind. Second Ezra 16. You start at the 33rd verse, and you can read down.
Second Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall the bridegrooms be destroyed.
Right. See, it said in the wars, and that's plural. So that's what we're witnessing right now. ICE, and they starting to focus in on Judah. Hey, that proves right there. Oh, and for you Israelites out there who took their hard stance against the so-called native tribes being Israelites, the so-called Latin tribes, you know, these Negro-only Israelites. Well, explain this away, man. Because you don't see ICE rolling up on Moab. Or you might say, well, hold up. A Moabite, the features, well, what about a Hamite? They look sort of like Jake. When you confuse a Hamite with a Jake, why they ain't rolling on them? Because it's all spiritual, man. It's the tribes who are in trouble. And they're in trouble with the Most High because we just went into the law. The Lord said he's not a man that he should lie, man. Have he not spoken and done it? I believe that's how it's quoted. Have he not said and will not do it? And I'm roughly paraphrasing. So we just went into the records, which when you go into that word record, it translates to what? Memory. So the Lord used us to speak these words, and that was the memory of the Lord. That was the Lord's memory coming back. Oh yeah, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna get you guys. Yeah, all right, come on.
In the wars shall the bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
So you see where that famine and sword is on the scene? And how ironic, how convenient. Snap is being cut off. Your assistance, the vintage will ultimately fail. The food shortages. Come on.
It says, "Hear now these things, and understand them, ye servants of the Lord."
See that? So we was given clearance to tap into the scriptures and understand what's being said. See? Yep. So that's all we need. We can go back.
It says, "Chaos on the southeast side. Governor Pitzer slams ICE as tear gas." Let me open this up. As tear gas erupts and Chicago locals detained amid immigration clashes. Yeah, pretty much the headline says it all, man. You know, as the elder going into the time of Jacob's trouble, man. You know, and you say it often, elder, the Lord got one proverbial last swing on you Israelites, man. You know, for all your abominations and the things you have pushed for, the Lord gonna pay you back.
Hey, that's usually, if I may, right? That's usually the final, that final blow. That's usually the knockout blow. So that's what's gonna happen here in the latter days. The Lord pretty much brought you over here. This place is like it's an actual prison. But America is very prominent in the scriptures. It figures prominent because this is the place where the plagues unfold in their perfection. So you was brought over here in those ships. And notice you went on no cruise, no carnival cruise line ship. You was on slave ships. So you was brought over here. The Lord placed you, he positioned you so you can be right in the target, so to speak, for the judgments to befall upon you. Because this is the place of the destruction and the deliverance. So either you here to be destroyed or here to be delivered. Either you here to succumb to the wrath of the Most High, or you here to be preserved from it. See? Come on, was it more on that?
Oh, that was it on that, Elder. I think we got a video also.
Okay, come on.
ICE, listen.
I had to run there with ICE.
This is getting more brazen. Don Lemon, listen.
I had to run there with ICE. Monday night, September 29th, I was at home, minding my own business, and I heard a knock at the door. When I looked through the window, I could see
Hey, Salakia, and the scriptures speak about that. And you know, we often go into this. The Lord ain't got to interview each and every individual. You have certain people that serve as figureheads, representation. Or like we mentioned, the guy Boosie. Remember, he made that rebellious statement. He actually looked up to the heavens and said, "Any God that tell me I can't eat pork?" Well, he was speaking he was a spokesman for the 2/3, man. He was he was pretty much a manifestation of the Lord being justified and bringing judgment. But the reason why I bring that up, because this guy, he said he was just chilling at the house, man. The scripture speaks about in your security. That's when the Lord will come. The scriptures also speak about that breach, ready to fall. But in your security, when you think nothing is about to happen, that's when the thief comes, man. So he symbolized what's going to happen to a lot of Jake, who just pretty much docile. They forgot, we went into that word forgot earlier. Those who forget their power, it means oblivious. This guy was oblivious. He thought that ICE was just focused on the Latin tribes. But the scriptures say Judah and Israel was oppressed together. All right, come on.
They were wearing the green army fatigue uniforms. When I answered the door, they pushed their way in, and is there anybody in here with? And I told them no. Told me, they said,
the hunter. And he said having the green fatigue, the camouflage.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
And is there anybody in here with? And I told them no. Told me, they said, we want you to come with us. And I'm like, what for? You know, what is this all about? And that's when they told me, they said, just shut up and come with us. At that.
Yeah, see, just shut up, man, and come with us. And that's another thing. You people, you know, you Americans as a whole, but even our people, they lost sight of the fact that this is the land of your captivity. And not only that, you are in the midst of your enemies.
Mm.
They think they got rights. They think, the Lord, watch, man.
Mm.
Right? Because you see Jake, hey, I got right, you know, especially these Moors. They go into their penal codes, and you're going to see, man, that shit not going to hold weight, because that's really going to be the wrath of the Most High, the fury of the Lord on those soldiers and whether cops, local cops, whomever, man.
Mm.
Any form of resistance, that's going to be the Most High. So he said, look, I think when you go into it more, he said, man, I got my paperwork in my backpack. Let me just show you. They said, man, shut the hell up, man. And they put zip ties on. See? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you see the guy was released, but look, it's going to only intensify. This is the Most High showing you. You know, that's just like when you have a terminal disease or whatever, you have a symptom. Somebody have cancer, breast cancer, that lump, that shows up, and it gives you a glimpse into a more disturbing issue. So that's where we at with it, man. Jacob's trouble is here, man. See? This guy just came out. ICE came and got him, man. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe they had no warrant or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, I believe that's it on that.
Okay.
Oh, you got anything else?
La.
Yeah, so we'll end it there. You know, again, hey, we're in heavy times, man. We're in the time with the Lord. Matter of fact, you know what? One quick scripture we'll end off on Ecclesiasticus, the 36th chapter. We've been bringing this out. Ecclesiasticus 36. We're in the time of the Lord's visitation, man. And we know that ultimately that judgment is geared towards Esau, but you know what? The 2/3, they on the scope too, man. They really gonna feel the brunt of the judgments of the Most High. Yep, come on.
Sirach chapter 36 of verse 1. Have mercy upon us, O Lord, power of all, and behold us.
Right, so you notice here, right, where that mercy is not being petitioned for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Look, just have mercy on us. That's personalized. You see? So we're in a privileged position. We're being brought front and center to see the works of the Most High. And what's the science behind it? To ignite that fear. Because when that fear is activated, now you're a vessel that qualifies for the Lord to pass over you. But you know what? That mercy only going to be showed upon the elect. Come on, out.
And send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee.
Right, and you can throw the 2/3 in there. So when that guy got rounded up by ICE and zip tied, that was the Lord sending his fear. Or the article you pulled up, you had the young Jake got chased down, pretty much got apprehended, and all these different stories you hear of you know, houses being raided, and you don't even know the extent of what's going on, because it's reports of children being separated from their parents and all that, man. So that's the Most High sending his fear. He's sending his fear upon those who seek not after him.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, out.
Lift up thine hand against the strange nations, And let them see thy power, as thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us.
And that's what we're witnessing. The Lord is magnifying himself in them before us. That's why we're able to report on certain things, judgment come down. See? Come on.
And let them know thee as we have known thee.
Yeah. So our reality eventually going to become your reality. People always speak about, us being fear mongers. Remember that time a few years back? That was the word of the week.
Mm-hmm.
You guys fear mongers. Well, you damn right, man. Because we have been given the task of introducing the Most High to you, who is to be feared. But guess what? Now you're going to get to know that power as we know him. Why? Because it's going to be up close and personal, man. Come on.
That there is no power but thou, O Most High.
See that? Meaning everything that's happening, you can't attribute it to no other power. Everything, man. From the food shortages, SNAP benefits being cut, all these benefits for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
ICE rounding you up, casting you into concentration camps. These airborne diseases, newly created creatures from drones. And Esau, the left hand himself, man, World War III, all that's orchestrated by the architect, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So there's no other power. It's the Most High that's powering. He's bringing that energy into the earth. Come on.
Come, show new signs. And make other strange wonders.
See that? So the power, the God of the Bible is not just some story you read about and it's suspended in time, never to be uttered again and witnessed in the earth again. No, the Lord is alive and well, man. That's why the scriptures say, "What show new signs and make other strange wonders." So when you read about the calamities that fell upon ancient Egypt and these different cities, ancient cities in the Bible, the Lord said what? He's going to erect new signs, make other strange wonders. Come on, out.
Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works.
Yeah, and that's it, man. It's been set in motion. Right? You had a saying, and this applies. The saying, lights, camera, action.
Mm-hmm.
That applies to the truth, man. That light, you enlighten, then cameras, the Lord reported, then action, man. No different than with a tornado. Right? The meteorologist, he's briefed, he's enlightened, the cameras come on, he warn you, and then what happens? The destruction ensues. So yeah, with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom to the fellow laborers out there, and as always, you believers. Till the next time, shalom.
Shalom.